All right, folks, what is going on? Back with another video. And today I want to talk about some Nintendo news because apparently Mario Maker 2 levels are being deleted. And I tried to figure out what was going on here. I know a few days ago, my son was playing Mario Maker 2, and some levels that he uh, favorited, just the ones that he liked, they weren't there anymore. So he couldn't go back and play them. And I was wondering what was going on with that. We just thought about it, internet issues, whatever the case may be, server problems, just didn't think about it. So we just left it alone. Then I get on the internet and I actually went to YouTube and I saw some videos saying the same thing. And I was like, all right, so now we got an issue. So this is a really big thing. And I kind of went through the whole motion of why this is a thing. A couple of YouTube channels. I'll put the link down in the description where you can check those videos out as well, but I'm gonna give my thoughts and opinions on why these levels are being deleted. Apparently, some of these levels had hashtags in them, and that was like one of the main reasons why that they're thinking that they're being deleted. Now, if this is the case, I know Nintendo has had a bad rap on a lot of things. This one I can understand, and I'm not necessarily having any vitriol towards Nintendo because of this. Now, this is the reason why. Hashtags are an avenue to get things off of their platform to other places, and they don't want to be held liable. If you are looking at anything like Roblox or anything like those platforms that have these offsite mechanisms where malicious things can happen, this is where Nintendo probably just don't want to have any association with that. Now, do I think it's right? No, I don't think it's right, but at the same time, I understand where they are headed at, where they may just want to protect what they have. There's a really big thing going on with hashtags. You can link those hashtags to other sites, whether it be X, whether it be Reddit or anything like that. Even Discord, those places can actually, bring about malicious things. And for the most part, I feel like Nintendo's probably protecting themselves, because if something was to happen and those hashtags are linked and it comes back to saying, hey, Mario Maker is where I found this particular hashtag and such was done to me, I can understand where Nintendo do not want those problems. If you were looking at anything like a Roblox, if you haven't been following those cases where I 100% believe you should get your kids off Roblox, free schlep, you know what I mean? But I feel like those type of things are a liability if you've been following those things. But Roblox has just been, they're doing the bare minimum to say that they're not culpable. And I get it. They're, technically they're not, but I'm not going to get into that. But Nintendo has been a family friendly company for decades, and they don't want to associate with those type of things. That is my only thing that I could think of why Nintendo would be against stuff like this. You also have to understand that kids do play these levels. You got to understand that certain individuals that don't mean well play these type of games, and when you put those two and two together, I mean, you're asking for a disaster. At the end of the day, I think Nintendo needs to find a way to fix this. I don't think levels need to be completely deleted, especially if there was no warning. They could have gave a warning, say, hey, get rid of these hashtags. Hey, let's modify this, let's change that. Or they can put in another mechanism into Mario Maker, which I think this could work if they was to say, hey, look, we're going to make an area where groups of people can make their own levels, and every level could be in that space. So it could be some type of community driven thing. Now, with that being said, that could be an issue as well, because those communities could bring about malicious intent, so you gotta understand where this is coming from. I'm not necessarily the type to actually, let's say, be for a company or whatever. But when it comes to children, and when it comes to actual ways that you can have different avenues to contact children, yeah, I don't care who the company is. That type of thing is not going to fly under my book. I mean, look, I have a 7-year-old. I already told him he cannot be on Roblox. He can watch Roblox all he want, and if he is on Roblox, it's definitely overshadowed by me. I'm watching it, and it's going to be some sort of offline thing where he cannot communicate with anyone. And if they do, I know about it. I mean, it's just that simple. I take Roblox and any online gaming very seriously when it comes to my son. I'm either playing with him or I'm watching him. I'm pretty much overbearing when it comes to that, because especially with me being a gamer, I have to watch what he does. So those type of things. Maybe this is why I am feeling the way I feel about these particular levels. And it does sucks for other people who are in this space that aren't about that. They just want to have a good time with these games. But at the end of the day, hey, look, this is what goes on in real life. This is real. This is reality. This is how they, I ain't gonna say they, but this is how certain people get down when it comes to these online platforms. And Nintendo is just protecting themselves. I mean, there's a lot of things Nintendo need to tighten up on when it comes to their games and the history of their games and preservation of games and how they treat people when they want to preserve those games. I am 100% for the consumer, but this right here, I don't think you're a consumer if you're going to use these hashtags in a malicious way. And I'm not saying that any of these people are, but this is an avenue where they can be. Whatever hashtag it can be, it could mean anything, and those hashtags could be a bat signal to go to other places to do different things. And I know that's going to be a little controversial. I expect some people to probably say other say things that are against what I feel, and I mean that's completely fine. It's just going to tell me two things. One, that you are a 100% about freedom of speech, and I get it, and I'm with you there. But I'm not a spokesperson for Nintendo. I just look at it from a parental side of things. Or two, you may be one of these people that are actually malicious and want to do things to children and or others. And I have no sympathy and no respect for you. And Lord knows if I ever catch you trying to come after anybody that I know with these type of intentions, yeah, it's going to be a problem. So, with that being said, I feel like Nintendo is doing their due diligence. I don't have an issue with it. I just think Nintendo could do things better as far as giving these people heads up, like, hey, you may need to change this instead of just deleting the entire, deleting the entire, level. Because some of these levels are absolutely great. They're phenomenal and they're legendary, and they should be a part of art that should be preserved in some type of way. It sucks that Mario Maker One, basically, some of the levels are lost to the test of time. You can't find any of those levels. I did my best to download as many of those levels I can for my Wii U, but yeah, it's just not the same because there's thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of levels that are just lost. And now, with Mario Maker 2, some of these levels are lost, and that's not fair. That's not fair. They should be able to keep these levels, but Nintendo need to do a better job of addressing this instead of just deleting them. But like I said, I do understand where they're coming from. I do. Don't get me wrong. I understand where they're coming from with these levels, and this is something that needs to be resolved because you let one person get away with it and there may have great intentions, then the next person come through that may not have great intentions. Now you're looking at a problem where Nintendo could be a part of a lawsuit that they actually can't win. Because Nintendo is a basically a law firm that makes games. They're not a gaming company that happens to sue. I believe they're a law firm that makes games, and they don't want to be held liable for anything where they feel like they cannot win a lawsuit. So yeah, you guys let me know what you think. I know this is somewhat of a touchy subject, something that may ruffle a few feathers, and hey, look, I'm here for it, but and me as a father, I totally understand where they're coming from, but they have to do a little bit better with getting this right because some of this stuff is not necessarily warranted, and I'm pretty sure a lot of these people are actually have good mean. They mean well, and they don't deserve to have their levels deleted. Give them a warning, give them a chance to make it right. But that's just my thoughts. You guys let me know what you think. And yeah, I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Peace.